Introducing the Requirements Analysis Tool, Scenario, by Kyle Gardner and Jordan Carlson. I am Kyle Gardner, and I will be speaking through the first sections of this presentation. In this section, I will define scenario. As it states in our D. Zogli and C. Cowlin reading from this last week, scenarios are narrative and specific descriptions of current and future processes, including actions and interactions between the users and the system. In easier terms, a scenario is a scene or story that depicts user interaction with a proposed system. William Y. Arms, a student from Cornell University, defined the following components that make up a scenario. First, the purpose of the scenario, or situation that the scenario is trying to explore. Second, the object being followed, or in other words, the person or thing that the system is designed for. Third, the technical equipment or software being used or being needed. And fourth, steps of the scenario, or the specific individual pieces of the user experience that will be laid out. In this section, I will give an example of a scenario that will be familiar to most students. The purpose, or entire goal of this specific scenario, will be to depict the use of an online class scheduling system by a college student to add a class to his schedule. The object, or focus of the scenario, will be John, a student of software engineering at Brigham Young University, Idaho. The required equipment for this scenario will be any computer with access to an internet browser. The steps, or procedure of this scenario will be as follows. John, our student, authenticates on login, or signs in to his computer. If his computer has no login, username, or password, this step will be skipped. Step 2. John opens his internet browser and enters scheduling system URL into the URL. Or he searches for the scheduling system with a different set of steps leading to step 3. Step 3. The scheduling system shows the student his schedule and presents options to add or drop classes. Step 4. John selects the option to add a class. Step 5. The scheduling system then presents a search bar for the student, John, to input a class name or code. John then enters the desired class name into the search bar. A name or a code should lead John to the next step, step 7. The scheduling system presents a list of classes with checkboxes and a button titled Add Selected Classes. John selects the course he wishes to add by clicking the course's corresponding checkbox and then clicks the Add Selected Classes button. Now, depending on whether or not John meets course requirements, he will move to step 9, or he will move to another step where he will be informed that he does not meet course requirements and then navigated back to the initial add or drop courses page, as he would be on step 9. The scheduling system navigates back to initial page and presents registered classes for the user to see.
Hello, my name is Jordan Carlson, and I'll be presenting for the remainder of this presentation. First, we're going to look at some of the upsides to using this scenario's elicitation technique. A strength that we've noticed in people is that they're very good at finding those inconsistencies and those key details that are easily missed when creating or coming up with these ideas. And so by presenting them with scenarios that present a correct or an incorrect representation of the product, we notice that they can do a good deal of effort and work in finding out what is missing. Another good quality is that by doing this, we can find and get a wide view of the whole problem and what aspects are missing. And by using this, we can save a lot of money because it doesn't take a lot of money or resources to develop these scenarios, and it is easy for us to come up with examples and use these at a low cost. These scenarios can be used throughout all stages of development. For whatever point we're at, we can test a new scenario and get further and further, deeper into development. And when we tell these stories, they are practical applications for users to use the product, and so you don't need much technical knowledge to understand what is going on. Some of the downsides, however, is that it can be difficult to draw useful scenarios. Sometimes our imaginations can run and we miss out on key instructions and key important details, or just simply not useful scenarios. And these are also not as suitable for all types of projects, even if they capture more requirements. Further on that, they don't cover all the processes, and it doesn't give a complete view of the future system. It just gives a potential view or a glimpse or a portion of what is to be the whole view. And another notice is that between different test subjects, you can find lots of bias or inconsistency between each individual that is tested to present their ideas of what they feel like should or should not be included in the scenario that they were provided. So when do we use these? A good time to use these is using the goals elicitation technique as well. When writing goals and coming up with goals, it can be easy to come up with scenarios that fit those goals and apply those to those goals. Also, it's good to use this when we only need and when we really only know the high level needs for the system at the very top, not like the very detailed, very small ideas, but when we know the main ideas, it's easy to use this. Also, when there's a lack of understanding about what the specific details and problems are, using scenarios can be easy to figure those out. Here, we'll show an example of what we did to gather data using this technique. I have a sister-in-law who has a massage therapist business, and I gave her a scenario of a product that would resemble a work ticket system, and gave her a scenario of how this could be used for her business. As you can see, the steps that I came up with include steps 1 through 8. And as I presented this to her, she said, yes, that sounds good, but here's the feedback that I think would be important. And as we see on the bottom, there are 2 extra steps that she included that would be useful in her use of this product. And so by using this scenario, we were able to dig a little deeper into one case of the product and find out how we can better affect the requirements for that specific product to meet her needs. Thank you for listening to our presentation, and here are our references